My name is Marcus Hale, and I never thought a homeowners association could turn my quiet corner of Long Island into a battlefield. I live in a gated community called Willow Creek Estates in Nassau County, New York, one of those cookie-cutter suburbs where every lawn is manicured to exactly 2.5 inches and the mailboxes all match the approved shade of taupe. It's the kind of place people move to for peace and security. But peace was the last thing I got after Karen Whitaker became HOA president. It started small. My solar panels were too reflective. My kid's basketball hoop violated setback rules by 6 inches. Then came the fine for parking my work van in the driveway overnight. Even though it's a hybrid delivery van for my small logistics business and doesn't leak oil, I paid most of them to avoid the headache. But I drew the line when they tried to ban my elderly father's visiting nurse from using the guest parking spots more than twice a week. Dad had just moved in with me after his third heart scare. The nurse was non-negotiable. Karen, short, peroxide blonde, always in pastel golf attire, took it personally. She cornered me at the community mailbox one Saturday. "Rules are rules, Mr. Hale. If everyone had exceptions, we'd have chaos." I smiled tightly. "My dad's heart doesn't follow your calendar, Karen." She clutched her clipboard like a shield. "Then perhaps he should live somewhere more accommodating." That was the beginning of the end. The Real explosion came on a rainy Thursday evening in late October. I'd been working late coordinating a rush shipment out of JFK. My phone rang at 7:42 p.m. It was the home health aide, voice shaking. "Mr. Hale, your father, he's clutching his chest." I called 911. "They're on the way, but he's in bad shape." I floored at home, heart hammering louder than the wipers. Traffic on the Northern State Parkway was a nightmare, but I made it in 12 minutes. As I turned onto Willow Creek Lane, red and blue lights flashed ahead. The ambulance was stopped at our community gate. Lights spinning, siren cutting through the rain, but it wasn't moving. I slammed my car in a park and ran up. 2 paramedics stood arguing with Karen. She had positioned her white Lexus SUV diagonally across the entrance, blocking the gate arm from rising. The automated gate reader wouldn't let emergency vehicles override without the HOA's special code, and apparently, Karen had changed it that afternoon due to recent security concerns. "Ma'am, move your vehicle now," one paramedic shouted. "This is a life-threatening emergency." Karen crossed her arms, rain plastering her hair to her forehead. "I don't care if it's the president himself. No unauthorized vehicles past this point without board approval. You'll have to wait for the fire department to cut the lock again." I pushed through. "Karen, that's my father in there. Open the damn gate." She turned to me with that smug little smile. "Marcus, if you'd followed the visitor policy, we wouldn't be here. The nurse should have been pre-approved. Now step back before I call security." The paramedics tried reasoning, then threatening citations. She wouldn't budge. One of them got on the radio. "Dispatch. Patient is critical. Myocardial infarction suspected. Gate obstructed by resident. ETA delayed." I could hear the sirens fade as another unit tried a side entrance, also blocked. 3 minutes had passed since they arrived. 3 minutes too many. Dad was dying while this woman played gatekeeper. Something snapped. I pulled out my phone, not to call a lawyer. I dialed a number I hadn't used in years. Back in my early 20s, before the business, I'd flown medevac for a private air ambulance service out of Republic Airport in Farmingdale. I still kept my commercial pilot's license current, and more importantly, I still had friends in high places. One of them owed me big after I pulled strings to get his sister into a clinical trial last year. "Tom, it's Marcus. Emergency. Willow Creek Estates, Nassau. My dad's coding. Ambulance blocked at the gate by an idiot HOA president. I need a bird in the air now. Can you scramble life flight or whoever's closest?" Tom didn't hesitate. "On it. Closest is Northwell Health's Hello out of Syosset. ETA 8 minutes if they green light. You cleared to assist on landing." "Damn right." I hung up and faced Karen. "You have 5 minutes to move that car before this gets biblical." She laughed. Threats won't. Sirens multiplied. Cops were finally arriving. But the real sound came next. The unmistakable thump, thump, thump of rotor blades cutting through the storm clouds. The helicopter appeared low over the tree line, green and white, searchlights slicing the rain. It banked hard toward the community's central green space, a wide, manicured lawn meant for summer concerts and approved recreational activities. The pilot's voice crackled over loudspeaker. Northwell Medevac 3 to ground. Clearing for landing on the commons. All persons stand clear. Repeat. Emergency medical landing in progress. Karen's face went white. They can't land here. That's against Covenant 4.2. The downdraft hit like a hurricane. Leaves, lawn chairs, a decorative gnome. Everything not nailed down flew. Residents poured out of houses, phones up, mouths open. The chopper touched down perfectly, skids sinking slightly into the sod. 2 flight nurses jumped out with a stretcher, ducking under the blades. I ran to them. My father. House 42. Into the cul-de-sac. Chest pain, shortness of breath, history of MI. Ambulances stuck at the gate. They nodded. We'll extract him. You coming? I climbed in behind them. The team moved fast. We reached the house in under 90 seconds. Dad was pale, sweating, oxygen mask already on from the aid. They loaded him onto the backboard, got him stabilized, and hustled back across the lawn. Karen stood frozen near her Lexus, now surrounded by 3 police cruisers, lights flashing. As the stretcher loaded into the helicopter, one of the cops approached her. Ma'am, you're under arrest for reckless endangerment and obstructing governmental administration. Step away from the vehicle. She started screaming about lawsuits, property rights, how this was private land. No one listened. The rotor spun up again. I knelt beside Dad in the cabin as we lifted off. His hand found mine, weak, but there. You always had a flair for drama, he rasped. I squeezed back. Learned from the best. We banked over the neighborhood. Below, blue and red lights pulsed around Karen's SUV. Neighbors filmed everything. By morning, the clip was everywhere. Local news, TikTok, Reddit. HOA Karen blocks ambulance. Helicopter saves the day. My phone exploded with messages. Dad made it through surgery. Stent placed, stable. The doctor said those extra minutes on the ground could have cost him everything. Instead, we beat the clock. The aftermath was swift. The HOA board called an emergency meeting. Karen was removed as president within 48 hours. A class action threat from multiple residents. Turns out I wasn't the only one she tormented. Forced them to rewrite the emergency access policy. Gates now auto-open for sirens, no exceptions. I received a formal apology letter on embossed stationery. I framed it next to the thank you note from Northwell Health. And Karen? Last I heard, she sold her house at a loss and moved somewhere without an HOA. Rumor is she still patrols her new street, clipboard in hand, but no one pays attention anymore. Me? I keep my pilot's license current. Just in case.